Hey there, and welcome to the Home Studio Rescue here on YouTube. My name is Chris, and today we're going to be talking about really. I made a video in July of 2020 last year. It was about why you shouldn't buy Waves plugins, and it basically was about the update cost. And it's my most popular video, and I get questions, pretty much the same questions all the time from it. I'm still new at YouTube, even a year into it. I don't really feel comfortable 100%, but uh, I will say that I guess that video left a lot of questions for people. And so I'm going to talk about that a little bit. And then also, I'm going to talk a little bit more about my Universal Apollo Twin, Universal Audio Apollo. Um, and so, right off the bat, with the Waves video, so I'll just read one of the questions I got earlier today. It was just so basically about not understanding the update plan. Do I have to wait? Do I have to buy Waves? Do I have to, let's see, do I have to update plugins that I bought every year? The answer to that is no. When you buy Waves plugins, you can use those plugins, like you get free updates for a year. After that, if you need to update, then you're out of luck. But really, the only reason that you need to update your Waves plugins, or at least in my opinion, the only reason to update would be that they have stopped working because you updated your operating system, or um, that you've updated your operating system, or you bought a new computer that has a new operating system. So the version, like when you bought Waves plugins, you own the version of those plugins that you bought. So I think right now I'm on V11, and so those work on, I think they would work on Catalina for Mac. Now, also, I do want to state, because I've gotten a lot of hate on this whole updating your plugins, like with Waves and all that jazz, it's mostly about if you have a Mac computer. For better or worse, I'm a Mac user, and there's a lot of people that really dislike Mac. There's a lot of hate for that, but this is because pretty much every year they update their operating systems, and right now it's a mess because they just went from Intel processing chips to their own M1 chips, their silicone base, whatever. Uh, yeah, so it's even more of a mess right now than it usually is. But what happens is that Apple updates their operating system, and then if you don't mess with your stuff, like right now, I'm on Sierra, which is like, I don't know, it's like 3 or 4 operating systems ago. And that's very much on purpose because I know if I update to Big Sur or Catalina, if I can even do that still, that I'm gonna have to pay for Waves updates again. There's gonna be a lot of things where I'm gonna have to update Pro Tools. Last year, I updated Waves again, and so do you have to update every year? The answer to that question is no. You do not have to update your Waves plugins every year. You have a year of free updates. So if you need to update, I would update in that time. You will always own the version of the Waves plugin that you bought. They will always work on the operating system you are on, like that you originally bought them on. But if you update your computer or buy a new computer and it has a new operating system, and I'm talking mostly about Mac users here, then you're going to have to pay for an update. And so that's like the biggest question I have usually is that, do I have to update my plugins every year? There's a lot of confusion from the video I made, and there's some things in that video I probably wish I didn't say. I didn't know it was going to get as many views as it did. I'm grateful for the video. Most of you that are watching my channel are subscribed because of that video. But um, so yeah, you don't have to update your plugins every year. You only have to update them when they stop working. Another thing I'll say, like the CLA plugin, they had this delay plugin that came out around Christmas for free, and I tried to download that, but I needed version 12 of the Waves update plan, and I'm on V11. So in order for me to use that plugin, I would have had to update my operating system, which I knew better. And that's the only thing that's one of the things I would warn you about, is that you just need to check. You need to check, one, is your computer compatible? I'm on a 2015 Mac, maybe a 2014 MacBook Pro, and I am able to update to Big Sur, but I'm not doing that because there's a lot of the plugin companies that I use, they aren't there yet, and they might be now. I haven't checked in a while, and I'm also about to buy a new M1 Mac Mini, probably, but I've just kind of been waiting and seeing how things are going because when the M1 chip first came out, there was a lot of problems uh, with trying to run Intel based programs on the new Mac platform. It's starting to catch up a little bit. They have a thing called Rosetta that will translate Intel stuff. But um, yeah, my biggest problem right now is my computer really doesn't handle very well doing videos, or I like to do screen recordings in Pro Tools, which I haven't done in a long time. I like to do that for you guys. I'd love to just show you guys some of what I do with writing music, how I mix music. That's what I do is mix music. But yeah, because my computer can't handle it, and also I'm running a very old operating system, I just can't download some of the newest software. I see that there's a couple people watching. If you have any questions or you just want to say hello, I am here to chat a little bit. So I'm just going to ramble on. So yeah, but my point with the CLA thing is that in order for me to use that plugin, I would have had to update my operating system, which would have made me have to, I believe I would have had to update Pro Tools again, and I probably would have had to update my V11 Waves plugins. So I guess the message that was supposed to come out of that Waves video is really just be careful and know that when you update your plugins, or update your operating system or any of that. Or if you're on an old operating system, like right now, I'm not buying Waves plugins because if I bought them, they wouldn't work on the computer I'm on. And I've also gotten that question a lot as well, or people just saying, I went and bought a bunch of stuff from Waves because they're cheap, but they won't work on my computer. So, you know, I'm trying to save people from that frustration. And really what happens is they won't work on your computer unless you pay the update cost. And for me, I have hundreds of Wave plugins. I've had bundles for 10 years and all this stuff, and so when I pay for it, it's $240. For you, if you just have a handful, it might be less. Sometimes it's cheaper just to buy the plugin again than it is to update it. That's what I've heard from some people, especially when there's sales going on. So anyways, this is just something, food for thought. And when if you're thinking about updating an old Mac, please look and see if if your computer can even, if it one can even run the new operating system. Two, Waves has a list, a compatibility list, and I have that in some other videos. I'll link that down in the description, um, where it will tell you if your Mac can even run their latest version of Waves plugins. So uh, it's kind of a frustrating place to be. I've wanted to buy a new computer for over a year now, and I've just kind of, because of the M1 chip and everything that's going on, which it sounds amazing. They're supposed, like, to me, these new Mac computers have made an amazing leap, and I feel like they've left everyone in the dust. But that's part of the problem too, is that they've left a lot of people, a lot of software companies. They're just trying to catch up. And at least I'm not a tech guy, but from everything I see, I'm about to spend $1,100 on a 16 gigs of RAM, 512 storage on the hard drive. I'm going to buy a new Mac Mini, and I've been hesitant to pull the trigger, but at any rate, it's going to happen, and it's getting better every day. Every day it's getting closer and closer. So I'm excited about that. I'm also excited about my Apollo Twin right now. I'm talking to you just so this is another good video topic that I'll probably do at some point. But I'm talking to you through my SM7, just straight up through the Apollo. But I do have a distressor on it, a distressor plugin that's running in real time, zero latency. I actually had a real distressor, and I don't know, it's pretty close. That's what I used to talk through or record vocals. So I've had that. I had that for 10 years. I just sold it, and I'm talking through a distressor right now. But the headline I wanted to say about the SM7 is that you don't need a cloud lifter. The Apollo has 65 dB of gain, and it has more than enough gain. Like, I could go right now and turn off the distressor, and you should still be able to hear me. It might even sound better. I don't know. But yeah, right now it's back on. This is without it. So the Apollo, it seems to have more than enough gain for the SM7B. I'm still thinking about getting the Cloud Lifter. I've never had to do that because I've always had really good preamps. But if you don't know about the SM7B, which this is a famous podcast mic at this point. It's a famous mic for a lot of reasons. It's great for singing as well for a lot of people, but it needs a ton of gain. And like so, I actually have this sitting here. This is a Focusrite Scarlett Solo. This thing has about, I think it's just short. It's like 56 dB of gain on it, and so I have a friend who bought one of these and this microphone, and they had to buy a cloud lifter, which makes sense. This just doesn't have enough gain. I've tried it. It doesn't have enough preamp gain to power this microphone, but I have heard it with the cloud lifter, and I will say it sounds really good just with the cloud lifter. It's clean. It's a good preamp. Um, and I for a while I was trying to make a video. I've made videos on what's the best audio interface for an SM7. Now, this audio interface, this is $100 audio interface, and the one I'm talking to you through right now, this is a used version of it. This is an Apollo Twin. They now have the Apollo Twin X, which I got an Apollo Twin Quad. If I would have bought that new, it would have been $1,400. This with shipping and taxes and whatever else, it was a $950 interface. So it's not cheap. This is a high-end piece of equipment, and it's great. But with this, you could pay $100 for this microphone. I think it's $400 brand new, and then you'd need to spend something like, I think it's 120 to 150 bucks for a cloud lifter. But with I keep putting it down. With this interface, if you have the cloud lifter and this microphone, it sounds good. It actually sounds great. So that's nice. What I like about this Apollo Twin is that I'm using the compressor right now, even though I probably don't need to. Um, I can use it just like I did my distressor that was sitting here in a rack. And I had a really nice preamp. I had a 2-channel Pacifica. And so now I just use the Apollo Twin, and it can go in my backpack. The old rack, it was like with everything in it, I think I had 40 pounds. Also, I had a Focusrite 18i20, and that thing, I think it's really great that it's an 8-channel preamp. It's sitting in a rack. I'm going to use that in this other 8-channel, crappy 8-channel preamp I have to record a band at my friend's cabin. But as far as like the conversion rate, everyone talks about conversion, and I'm guilty of this too. I kind of have said in the past that you probably won't even notice the difference between something like the conversion rate, especially in a home studio, like your digital audio converters, like between the Focusrite Scarlett and the Apollo Twin. I notice a huge difference. And before I had the 18i20, uh, I had I had an Orion Antelope 32, which was like a $2,000 or $3,000 converter at the time when I bought it in a Dangerous D box, and it sounded very good and it sounded clean and all that. And then I went down to the Focusrite Solo or Scarlett 18i20, and it was night and day. It just didn't my speakers didn't respond very well to it. I couldn't push them as hard. And then I still have the 18i20 sitting on the couch back there in a rack for that recording project I'm going to do. But when I got this Apollo Twin, holy moly, holy holy crap. It sounds so much better. The conversion, like my drums, like I mix drums, and they are so much clearer and more punchy, and there's low end, and I have room software. As you can see in this room, there's no treatment here. I've had home studios where I had treatment up. I just haven't done it here. And I have this acoustic software by IK Multimedia. I think it's called Arcos, but or something like that. I don't know, but it's great. IK Multimedia, and that thing really helped with the Scarlett 18i20. But without that software on, my room like everything just sounds better through this Twin. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not getting I'm not I've got 500 subscribers. I don't have affiliates at this point. I'm not doing affiliates. I'm not getting a dime. I'm not saying I really like this twin. That's all I'm going to say about it. I'm not trying to tell you you need to buy a twin, but there's a lot of advantages to it, to the whole universal audio platform. At this point, I have an Apollo twin. I have a quad satellite, a UAD2 quad satellite, and then I have an old Firewire UAD quad satellite. And so I've heavily invested into their platform, and at this point, I don't regret it. And I sold my distressor. I sold my Pacifica preamp. I don't regret that one bit. It's been it's been a week, so I'm still like pumped, but I'm pretty hard to impress when it comes to this stuff. I've been doing this for a while. I went to the Blackbird Academy. I have seen distress. I have used Fairchilds. I don't know if you guys know what those are. I've used all kinds of vintage equipment, all that stuff, mixed on Neve consoles, all sorts of things. And this this audio interface from Universal Audio is one of the first things that has really impressed me in a long time. So that's me dorking out over it. So another thing I will bring up is that I have started doing coaching and consulting for home studio owners. So, and what I mean by that is I have clients at this point that I'm helping them build their home studio, some people from scratch. I'm going to help them pick out their audio interface, their computer, what DAW they work in. Headline or newsflash is it doesn't have to be Pro Tools. That's what I work in. But I'm trying to help people, the people I am working with, I'm trying to help them pick out what's right for them and their budget. That's another thing. What's the budget? And so I'm helping people build their home studios within their budget. And I'm also, so I'm going to help people buy their equipment, and then I'm going to teach them how to use it. Like, so, and by that, I mean how to record, and then from there, how to take what they've recorded and make it sound good. And we're gonna, I'm working with people who are gonna be doing rap, hip hop, rock, all that stuff. So I guess the point of all that is that if you need help recording or like learning how to record, picking out the right equipment, like one of my first clients, we were going over this list he pulled off of the internet, and it was 11 different items that they said he needed in order to get his studio together, and they weren't wrong. And the thing with that is when it comes to a computer, like I've been researching the M1 now for 2 or 3 months, and uh, it's hours. I'm spending hours trying to figure out what the right computer is for my studio, and should I wait? And is it even worth it because Pro Tools might not work? So each one of those topics, computer, audio interface, what microphone should I buy? Like this guy, if you buy this in the Focusrite Scarlett and you don't get a cloud lifter, this isn't going to work for you. So there's pitfalls, waves, plugins, things like that where, you know, you have the right computer for it. Maybe you have a computer now, but if it's not on the right operating system and you're buying Waves plugins, then they aren't going to work on the computer you have, then you're wasting money. So those are things where if you need help making those decisions, then I have a link. I'm going to have a link in the description at the end of this video. You can sign up through I just need your email, and you can go to my Calendly or whatever you call it. I have my schedule there. You can schedule a Zoom call. Volume faders in Logic or Pro Tools, but they don't know panning. They don't know buses. They don't know, I've had people ask me what a plugin is, which, yeah, I mean, like, I guess I get that, but I don't see those things. That's part of why this YouTube channel's been a blessing for me, because it's been 10 years since I had to learn what a plugin is. And so I'm going to be making a curriculum for my students, and I probably will be putting out a course. It's like a recording 101 or mixing 101, and I'm going to go through how to set up your session for recording. And then from there, once you've tracked everything, I'm going to show you how to lay out your session, how to gain stage. If you're recording actual real drums, I'm going to do phase. And then from there, I'm going to go through EQ, compression, reverb, and delay. And I kind of feel like there's so many people on the internet that are probably doing this already, but at the same point, the people that I'm working with, I'm going to build a curriculum for them because they want to work with me. And so I'd be interested to hear if anybody actually, if you guys have any interest in that. And if you're still watching, or if you're, yeah, if you're actually watching, then I'd really love to hear what you have to say. And so, yeah, there's going to be a link in the description down below. You can get a free 30-minute Zoom call from me, and then from there, if you want to work with me on a one-on-one basis, I'm going to be doing that until for a while, until I get a client base that I just until I just can't handle one-on-one anymore. So that's kind of my plan at this point. If you're a new subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for everybody that's watching my content, and everybody's been so positive, so I really appreciate that. And I guess that's going to do it for tonight. I just wanted to reach out. I wanted to answer some questions on the Waves stuff. So bottom line is, only update if you need to, if your plugins aren't working, and then when you've done, the only time you're really going to have to think about updating is when you're updating your operating system or you've bought a new computer. And so you don't have to update Waves plugins every year. When you buy them, you get a year of free updates. So I would advise that if you're going to do something, do it in that range and get the latest version of what you have. And then from there, I get a lot of Windows users also who say, "Oh, I'm never going to have to update." That's not true. You guys are going to have to update. Everyone's going to have to update at some point. And so that's what it is. I wouldn't fix it if it's not broken. Like right now, I'm on Sierra, like an old ass operating system, and if I stayed on this, it would work. But the problem is there's software I want to get. There's updates of new software and all that stuff. And me being on Sierra is holding me back from that. So I'm going to have to pay for the stupid $240 again, even though I just did it last year. And I did it 4 years before that. And so that was the message of that original Waves video, is that you're probably going to have to pay an update fee. And so, yeah, and in that video, I said that, so I guess I'm buying them twice, which that might be an exaggeration. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, please leave them down below. Leave me a comment, and I will get back to you. I try to respond to everyone's comments. And if you want to do a Zoom call and, we can talk about your setup, whatever you're struggling with, even if you don't want to do coaching or, have me be a coach for you, any conversation is valuable for me, because out of some of those conversations, I've made videos off of questions people had. I'm always looking for new content ideas. I'm always trying to figure out how I can serve you guys better, how I can help. If I just make one thing clear that helps you make your music better or better recordings, then